Canadian riders, I hear you in the comment section. So many of the e-bikes we feature ship to the US only. I hear your disappointment. So today we have something homegrown. It comes from a Canadian company and ships, of course, to those of you in Canada. It's called the Lancet. It comes from a company called EBIKECAN. It's got a unique frame. It's lightweight, and best of all, it has a carbon belt drive. In this review, I'll walk you through all the components, then we'll take it for a ride. I'll talk all about how the bike feels on the pavement, and then I'll wrap things up with some of the reasons to and to not consider the Lancet from EBIKECAN. But first, let's take a closer look. Before we dive into the specs, a little bit of background on the company. Based in Canada, obviously, they do have a service center and test ride center if you happen to live near it. The company has been around since 2022. They offer free shipping, a 2-year warranty, and they have some assembly videos as well, which can be helpful. And they have a wide variety of e-bikes, from this Lancet to a folding e-bike with a belt drive. So if this one isn't your cup of tea, maybe you want to check out some of their other e-bikes. Now the Lancet comes in this sterling silver with pink accents or carbon black. It has a max payload capacity of 240 pounds, weighs in at just 42 pounds. At first I was a little bit nervous of how big of a frame this seems to be, but I put my wife on it, who's 5'5". They say it will fit riders all the way down to 5'1". I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam. I can get full leg extension. I love the step-through design. For motor power, we have a Bafang 350 watt motor with 50 Newton meters of torque. It is engaged with a torque sensor. The battery is integrated right into the frame, smaller battery, of course, to achieve the light weight of this e-bike. 252 watt hours. It's using LG cells. And just a note, while the battery can technically be removed, it's not meant to for charging purposes, more of a maintenance thing in case you ever need a new battery. Charger port right here. This is a single speed belt drive e-bike. The belt comes from Gates, so name brand. I'll talk all about how the single speed feels during the first person riding footage, but one of the main benefits of belt driven e-bikes is just low maintenance, no chain grease to worry about. Just simply get on it and ride. Estimates differ depending on the brand, but some e-bike makers say you can get 10,000 plus miles on one belt with no maintenance. The tires are from Innova. They're 700 by 40C, reflective sidewall, hybrid tread. The front wheel attaches with a quick release. You get plastic fenders front and rear. For stopping power, you get Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. There's 4 mounting points for a front rack. Cables run through the head tube. Nice cable management. There's an adjustable stem. The handlebars have a slight swoop to them. On the handlebars, you have locking ergonomic grips, faux leather, matching Tektro hydraulic disc brake levers, no motor cutoffs. The front light runs off the main battery and attaches to the handlebars. Running rear light as well. It's an all-in-one controls and display. Note there is no throttle, though that is an option from the company. The controls and the display are combined into one unit. Power button on the top. On the left, we have battery capacity. Front and center, current speed. Yes, you can change it to kilometers an hour. There's wattage. You can see the watts going to the motor. You have trip mileage, and then of course pedal assist level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can engage walk mode by holding pedal assist down. Additional information you can see by hitting the bottom button right here. Odometer, max speed, average speed, trip time, and back to trip mileage. You can turn the lights on by holding pedal assist up, indicator at the top of the screen, and there are some advanced settings you can get to by holding the bottom button. There's display setting. This is where you can reset the trip, change the units from imperial to metric. You can set a password. In advanced setting, this is where you can change the number of assist levels. 0 to 5 is the default. And then you can change the speed limit. I'll set it to 25 miles per hour for our testing. And that's it for the left mounted display. There's 2 sets of bottle cage bosses here and here. A perfect spot for perhaps the best water bottle cage on the market. It's fully adjustable, available at shop.ebikeescape.com. There's large platform pedals, standard seat, and an included rack with a 25 kilogram max capacity. With that, let's get into some first-person riding footage and see how the bike performs. All right, we are going to do what I think perhaps this bike is best suited for, just a nice Saturday afternoon cruise. All right, I have it in pedal assist level 1. Keep in mind a single speed, about a quarter to a half turn to hear that pedal assist. And this motor is very quiet. I can hear it, but since it is a smaller motor, not very loud. And able to cruise very nicely at around 17 kilometers an hour. By the way, that's what's on the GPS speed. I still have miles per hour on my display, so I have some frame of reference. And we are just sipping on this battery using about 40 watts. Now, one thing, this being a single speed, and if perhaps you are someone who hasn't been on a bike in a while, and if at all you're thinking that you might want the throttle, I would definitely just add it to your cart when you buy this bike. It's just nice to have a little bit of throttle just to get started, because with the single speed, they have to pick a gear ratio. And so that throttle is just going to allow you to get started much easier. Once you're going, obviously, though, less of an issue. So nice and easy in pedal assist level 1, 16, 17 kilometers an hour. Let's go into pedal assist level 2. And remember, this is a torque sensor, so the more power I put into my legs, the more power I'm going to get from the motor. And right now, just gently spinning the legs. Going at 20 and using about 150 to 200 watts. Lots of people out today, also enjoying a Saturday afternoon cruise. All right, just a little bit more power into my legs. Going about 25 in pedal assist level 2. Cadence getting faster, but still very doable. All right, jumping into pedal assist level 3, very gentle cadence. Jumping around 100 to 200 watts. Going about 23, 25, and a little bit more leg power. 27, 28. Again, not a huge difference between these pedal assist levels. The only reason I know I'm going a little bit faster is because I've been keeping track of the speed. All right, pedal assist level 4, 27, very easily. And again, once we kind of get up to a higher speed, it's barely pulling any power. A little bit more power from my legs and not seeing a huge jump of motor output. So this might be speed limited as well. There's 28. All right, we are going to hop on the road for pedal assist level 5. All right, pedal assist level 5. All right, that's where I saw the wattage the highest. I think 257. Of course, we're going against the wind now. Cruising at 25. Still jumping around 200 to 300 watts. All right, and the other direction here. 27, extremely easily in pedal assist level 5. And let's see, putting in more power, I'm actually seeing the wattage drop to around 40 watts. So it seems like the motor is kind of really scaling back for me at around 28 kilometers an hour, or about 18 miles an hour if you're in the US. So I talked about this being a Sunday afternoon cruise e-bike. It's not really meant for hills. There is a hill up here though. Let's take it up the hill. I'll talk about the experience, but this is going to be best suited for just nice and easy, perhaps rolling hills, nothing too significant. If you live in a very hilly area, 1, this is a single speed, and 2, the motor power, this is meant to be a lightweight e-bike just to give you a nice little boost for an easy ride. So I already have it in pedal assist level 5. This hill isn't huge by any means, but you can see that I've slowed down a bit. And I have to say the cadence at around the 28 kilometer an hour speed felt great. Don't feel like I'm spinning my legs too fast. And of course, I could put in more effort if I wanted more of a workout. Geometry-wise, this bike feels probably most similar to some Dutch e-bikes, just with the frame style, the head tube being a little bit longer. You don't have the extreme swept back handlebars, but it's still an upright riding position. I have tons of experience with these Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. No problem stopping this lightweight e-bike. All right, so this is where the hill gets quite a bit steeper. I'm just going to try to maintain a nice and easy cadence. Getting around 200 watts. Definitely wouldn't be breaking a sweat, but I know this bike wouldn't have made it up easily our huge hill climb test. All right, slowing down even more. And as my cadence slows, I have to put a little bit more power on my legs to make sure I'm getting that 200 to 250 watts. And so if you can see my legs just barely spinning, and this is why this bike is going to be best suited for flat terrain. While it can make it up this hill, you're going to be putting in some effort. If you had gears, of course, that would certainly make it easier. Or of course, that throttle. You could have the throttle, you could be pinning it to make sure you're getting full power from the motor and pedal alongside it. Though again, this bike has a smaller battery, so you're just gonna burn through the battery quite fast. All right, with that, let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the EBIKECAN Lancet. All right, Canadian riders, you asked, I listened. Hopefully this is just a start. I'd love to dig more into e-bikes to help our northern neighbors make an informed purchase decision. At $1,500 Canadian, this e-bike certainly fits into the value category. For those curious in the US, this is around $1,100, which feels like a fair price for a belt drive e-bike. Some will comment on the small motor and battery, but that's exactly the point of this electric bike. If you're unsure about hopping on an e-bike because they are typically heavy, the Lancet is definitely worth a look. At 42 pounds, it weighs significantly less than your average e-bike. It takes the edge off going for a cruise and can assist you up mild hills. If you're an avid cyclist, you could even tackle bigger hills certainly. The belt drive means there's less to worry about, which is a huge benefit if you're not mechanically inclined. Heck, I ride e-bikes almost every day and I will always reach for a belt drive e-bike over a chain drive. There's just so much less to worry about. Plus, this being a single speed, it's even more simple. You don't have to worry about what gear you're in, and you don't have to worry about a derailleur not functioning properly. The Lancet reminds me of a traditional hybrid bike, a term we hear less often now, but was more popular when I was younger. If you're familiar with that ride feel and used to narrower tires, that's exactly how the Lancet will feel, just with that extra boost. I was also pleasantly surprised to see a torque sensor included at this price point. It makes the power delivery feel much more natural and responsive to your pedaling compared to a basic cadence sensor. The step-through design makes it easy to hop on, and the adjustable stem allows for additional customization. I would have liked to see swept-back handlebars for an even more upright riding position if you wanted it, but that's just a personal preference. I like that EBIKECAN didn't skimp on including accessories. For a cheaper e-bike, you still get fenders and a rear rack. Next, some considerations. The non-removable battery means if you live in a freezing climate, which, let's be honest, if you live in Canada, it's kind of likely, you'll want to bring the whole bike inside rather than just popping the battery out. Speaking of that battery, at roughly 250 watt hours, it's less than half the capacity of what we consider an average e-bike battery, which usually sits around 672 watt hours. That is an obvious trade-off for keeping the weight so low, but it does mean you'll be charging it more frequently. And yes, you won't be able to go on super long rides unless, of course, you're riding in the lowest pedal assist level, putting in plenty of effort yourself. You also have a rigid front fork here. While that keeps the bike lightweight and is great for efficiency on smooth pavement, you'll definitely feel the bumps if the road gets rough. On the pedal assist side, I would have liked to see the power delivery not trail off before hitting the 32 km/h top speed. And yeah, I highly recommend that throttle. In my opinion, it alleviates the downsides of the single-speed drivetrain. I've heard so many stories from people who regret buying a heavy e-bike, and this is why the Lancet exists. EBIKECAN is a new company to us, so if you have experience with them, help us and help others considering an e-bike from them by dropping a comment below. Also, let me know what you think of the Lancet. Canadian riders, what other brands should we be keeping an eye on in Canada? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.